Know then that in the time of the Great Rebellion, this manor of Baskerville was held by Hugo of that name. A most wild, profane, and godless man. This, in truth, his neighbours might have pardoned, seeing that saints had never flourished in those parts. But there was in him a certain wanton and cruel humour, which made his name a byword through the West. What chanced that this Hugo came to love, if so dark a passion may be known under so bright a name, the daughter of a yeoman who held lands near the Baskerville estate. And the maiden, being of good repute and discreet, she would ever avoid him, for she feared his evil name. So it came to pass that one Michaelmas, this Hugo, with 5 or 6 of his wicked companions, stole down upon the farm and carried off the maiden. Her father and brothers being from home, as he well knew. When they returned to the hall, she was placed in an upper chamber. Well, Hugo and his friends sat down to a long carouse, as was their nightly custom. Now the poor lass upstairs was like to have her wits turned at the singing and shouting and terrible oaths which came up to her from below. But at last, in the stress of her fear, she did that which might have daunted the bravest man, for by the aid of the growth of ivy which covered the south wall, she came down from under the eaves, and so homeward across the moor, there being 3 leagues betwixt the hall and her father's farm. Well, chance that some little time later, Hugo left his guest to carry food and drink, with other worse things perchance, to his captive. So found the cage empty, and the bird escaped. Then he became as one that hath a devil, for charging downstairs into the dining hall, he sprang upon the great table, flagons and trenchers flying before him, and cried loud before all the company that he would that very night render his body and soul to the powers of evil, if he might overtake the wench. And while the revellers stood aghast at the fury of the man, one more wicked, or it may be more drunken than the rest, cried that they should set the hounds upon her. Where Hugo ran from the house, calling to his grooms to saddle his mare and unkennel the pack. And giving the hounds a kerchief for the maids, he swung them to the line, and so off, full cry in the moonlight over the moor. Everything was now in an uproar, some calling for their horses, some for their pistols, some for another flask of wine. At length, the whole of them, 13 in number, took horse and started in pursuit.